Hello,
Hello,
hello! Welcome to Awkward Aquarian
Aquarians.
Review.
Review.
So today we are going to be talking about Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Season 1, Episode 7, I believe. I don't really know. I think it's 7, but I just know it because
Seven
the episode...
heaven because it's angel.
I think one of our favorite episodes ever, if not completely favorite episode.
Mm-hmm.
I love it so much.
Dream lover, come rescue me.
Take me up, take me down.
Take me anywhere you want to, baby, now.
I feel that way. I feel it on a soul level.
Yes, and you're wearing a cross, which is very
I wore my little cross. I actually wore it to work.
nice. And I'm wearing and ankle weights. So
yeah. You got the whole Buffy training going on.
Mm-hmm.
Arm and ankle weights, baby.
I know. I figure if we work around the house, that counts as exercise, right?
If you're wearing weights, I think it does. Like, I think you can put it under like the exercise box. Like, yeah, you're working out. You're working out.
I'm training to be
also,
a player.
I made a drink for this episode. This is when I told you I got home, and I was like, I need food. Yeah, mine's a little stronger than coffee. Mine's got some extra something in there.
I know. I kind of wish I had some Irish cream for my coffee.
Would be delicious. God, or like Kahlua.
Or Kahlua?
Yeah. Well, because my friend Manders and we do that like book review, and we make a drink.
Yes.
And I mean, the book tells you like what drink to drink with the book, so it's kind of like you don't have to think of it for yourself. But I'm like, you know what? I've had a bad day. I should do that for this Angel episode.
Heck yeah! What'd you end up mixing?
I made a dark and stormy because I think like Angel's kind of dark and stormy himself. But I tweaked it because I'm not a huge fan of dark and stormies. So I sort of just tweaked it. Like a regular dark and stormy is like lime juice, I think black rum and ginger beer. But I don't really like ginger beer. So I made it with lime juice, Malibu rum, and ginger ale, and then like a hint of amaretto cherry juice.
Oh, delicious.
It's really good. It's really good.
Did you slip some cherries in there just for good measure?
I should have, but they're like expensive cherries. I'm like, I just was eating them.
Like, no, that's what I mean. Put them in there so that you could fish them out and eat them.
I know. I should have, because then I would have like kind of like soaked up all the like the nice juices and alcohol. And I'm like, this is the best thing ever. Nice, stuck with the juice. Because I use the cherries a lot in like the cooking and baking. So I was like, yeah, well. Yeah, so that is my drink for the episode. I'm gonna call it the Angel, the dark and stormy Angel.
The dark and stormy Angel. That's perfect. Perfect.
Perfection. All right, so let's get into it. Oh my God, I'm trying to think like how it starts because all I see is like Angel and Buffy dancing
and his little hurt pouty face.
Yeah, I guess it starts with I don't know if it starts with the Master talking about sending the 3 big warrior vampires after Buffy or not. I tend to like block out the Master scenes sometimes because I don't know, sometimes like they can bore me just a little. So
they're just very talk heavy, just like
yeah, it is very talk heavy, like evil plans, yada yada yada. But I think it was said, I'm not sure. But anyway, Buffy and Willow are sitting in the bronze, and Buffy's just kind of looking kind of like a little like pouty, you know, and Willow's like, what's wrong? And Buffy says, oh, nothing. And then Willow's like, you need a guy. To which I was like, is that really? Like, and Buffy's like, oh, I just, you know, talking about getting lonely and everything. And in my head, I was thinking, this would be so much more effective if we didn't just have that never kill a boy on the first date episode. Yeah, 2 episodes ago.
She was just on a date.
You just had a guy. It didn't go well. You don't need a guy.
You don't need a guy. You need an angel.
You need an angel, which Willow does bring up because Buffy was saying, "Oh yeah, really be great. But she brings up Angel, and Buffy's kind of like, how would that work? You know, he pops in, honey, you're in danger, bye. To which I was like, that would be fine. Then you just
I
like
know.
wrap your arms around him, and you know,
Aquarius. We're like,
yeah,
that sounds like a great relationship.
yeah, that sounds great. It's like not too confining. It's like perfect. But then Buffy leaves because she feels she's bringing down the mood of her friends.
Mm.
Um, I think this is also where Xander was dancing and he runs into Cordelia, and Cordelia's like, "Could you get your oafishness off my expensive shoes?" And he really throws a zinger at her. He's like, "Oh, I don't know what you're talking about. This dress doesn't make you look like a prostitute or a hooker or something." And this kind of the beginnings of Xander not treating Cordelia very well.
Yeah,
Like,
like he doesn't talk down to anybody else like that.
Mm-hmm. And I get that they don't get along, but he gets her. He's like he says really, really mean things to her, even when they're together.
Yeah,
And
and that's my problem. It's okay, like when they're frenemies, but then
yeah,
once they get together, I really wanted to see the sweet Xander that I know he can be, but instead he was still just giving her zingers every now and again.
Yeah, it's like
flirting with other women in front of her, like
flirting with other women, putting her on the back burner, all of these things, and I just
and
thought
she was putting his picture up in her locker. Like she was doing all these sweet things. When she thought he was turned into a fish, she was like, "We'll find a way to make it work." You know?
Like she was yeah, Cordelia pulled it out. She was great.
Good.
And yeah, and I just thought that comment from Xander was a little over the line. Like, come on, Xander, do better, be better.
Be better.
But Buffy leaves because she feels she's, you know, bringing down her friends. Then she's attacked by the three, and Angel saves her. He like pops in right in time, saves her. So
Angel, Earth Angel, won't
oh,
you be mine?
But they like run back to her house, and she opens the door, and she invites him in. She's like, "Come on, get in quick!" And he comes in. They close the door. She sees that he's wounded, so they go to the kitchen.
Oh, the kitchen scene with his tattoo, right? His
wife tattoo. The first time we see the angel tattoo.
Oh.
The A with the burr.
It's like getting hot in here.
Yeah. So yeah, he's standing there shirtless.
And he looks good. I think my young mind was blown when I saw that episode growing up. I think I was just like, oh, he was so beautiful.
Like, is this
weird? It was just like, damn. I don't remember details of this episode, but I remember that kitchen scene like vividly.
Also because I love their height difference. I love that he's like so tall and she's not, and then like when they're standing so close together, he's basically just like kind of like just stare. I mean, he's always staring at her, which is
so
kind of beautiful. So he's just sitting there like just standing over her, just staring down at her, and you just feel this tension, and I'm just like, get
oh, the chemistry.
Chemistry.
But David Boreanaz and Michelle Gellar had crazy good chemistry.
They had the perfect chemistry. And I guess they're like friends in real life too, so I think that helps.
That's so nice. Yeah.
Yeah, the chemistry between them is just, it's off the charts. And you just feel it in this scene. Like, it's just like, it's palpable. You're like, oh,
feel the heat between me and you.
They should be together. And she kind of asked him, like, oh, are you following me? And I'm glad you were there tonight, but if you're following me, I want to know why. And she's being a lot more overtly, I think, flirtatious with him than she usually is. You know, she's kind of just like,
hey, after I saw him in the tank top, I would have, you know.
I would be the same way. But they're interrupted because her mom comes home and she runs to the door, obviously, because she doesn't know if the three are still out there, and it's like, oh my god, my mom. So she runs to the door and then tries to like hurry her mom upstairs real quick, but Angel comes around the corner before
he just lumbers into the scene.
I know. Like, Angel, stay in the damn kitchen. Like, what are you doing?
I know. What was he thinking?
I don't know.
Like, oh, her mom. He
her
lumbers
mom.
out there, and
I'll go
Buffy's
see what's
like,
going on. Yeah.
"WTF, dude? Like, obviously you're supposed to stay hidden."
Well, I mean, because what we learned in season 2, he was basically like a hermit for what 100, 200 years. So
Mhm.
he has no real.
So he's like the epitome of social awkwardness.
Yeah,
He's
but just like
like
he's so
doesn't
like
take social cues.
dark and sexy that he gets away with it. Where you're like, oh wow, you're really socially awkward. I had no idea.
You know what I would have liked more of? You know how
Hmm.
Castiel from Supernatural doesn't know about spatial
My dog like
awareness?
scratched at my door. It like freaked me out. Like, it was scary.
See, I even mentioned Supernatural and something
And
scary
you
happened.
did. Like, I did Supernatural. I have like my werewolf-sized dog scratching at my door. I was like, oh my god.
Well, I wish they would have given Angel more of that Castiel, like not aware that he shouldn't be that close.
Mm-hmm.
I would have dug
Yeah,
that.
like a little bit of a maybe. I mean, kind of did with Buffy in the kitchen, just a little, but maybe
Mhm.
that's because he was just drawn to her, not so much like social awkwardness.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, like a little more, kind of like how he was in the first season of Angel when he was at that party, and someone asked
I
him to
love
dance.
that. And he's
Yeah.
the girl asked him to dance, and he has this flash of
Mhm.
him dancing in his head, and then
Yeah.
he's like, I
Doo-ga-doo-ga-doo,
don't.
doo-ga-doo-ga-doo. And then he's like, I don't dance. Because
Yeah,
he
and
was,
because of that first episode, I thought, oh my god, the series is going to be amazing. But that's the only time they did it.
yeah, that's the only time they made him actually like truly Angel. Like I felt like
Like
that was
his
more
real
Angel. Like,
character from
mhm.
Buffy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like it almost.
that episode where Buffy comes and they have that beautiful day together. Those are
Oh, the
my
breaks
favorite
my
episodes.
heart, but best episode ever. Yeah,
Yeah,
that one.
only
Yeah,
those two. The rest you can skip.
season 1 was okay, and then all of a sudden they made Angel kind of like the like comic joke, or I'm just like I don't like those very much. And then
Mm-hmm.
with his son, oh, okay, tangent. Um,
Tangent.
but anyway, so Buffy makes up an excuse like, oh, he's tutoring me, you know. She pretends to say goodbye. She takes him upstairs to her room because
Yeah.
she's like, oh, I don't want to get you dead, you know. You should stay here. And he's clearly like uncomfortable because he like likes her, but they're like in her bedroom together with the door closed. And then she's like, keep your back turned while I change, you know.
I mean, she's laying on all the stops. She's like, come into my
She
bedroom. Oh,
is.
turn your back. I'm gonna get naked.
I'm
Like,
like,
way to
"Please."
go, Buffy. I'd be doing it
Yeah.
too. Be
And I
like,
noticed she still goes to sleep with like her makeup on and everything. So it's like,
yeah,
you know, Buffy, I might too.
I
I
would
get it.
too. I'd do like full mascara, lip gloss. I just need you before I go to sleep.
Although, like, no, because then we'd wake up the next morning and it'd be like all over our Aren't I sexy?
Hey,
Yeah,
I've slept in rollers before, and then I wake up looking like Medusa.
I
It's
know.
just like,
Yeah,
oh.
yeah. But we learn a little bit more about him here because she's saying how this is she's the chosen one. She has to do it. And she's kind of asking him why he did it, and um, he didn't really say anything, but she kind of like it was like infer that, oh, it's a vengeance gig for you, you know. And we learned that
Mm.
his family died and it was from vampires, so learn that. And then they go to bed, and there's this like cute moment where she's like, Angel, do you snore? And he's like, I don't know, it's been a long time since anybody's been able to let me know. Which is just like this sweet moment, you know. It's kind of like
Mhm.
innocent, and I really like that. And then the next day at school, she tells Giles and Xander and Willow what went on. And of course, Xander is just throwing a fit, you know, about like he was in your room, like in your bed. Buffy's like, not in my bed, next to my bed. Just total jealous Xander, you know. And I don't know how it's weird. Like it's hard to think of Xander this season because I know how much I dislike him in season 2.
Mhm.
So it's kind of hard to judge him this season. I feel like that's a normal reaction for someone you really like if you find out someone they really like was like stayed over with them. Um,
Yeah.
but I think it was like
I
a
mean, I
little.
think the dislike of Xander really was more season 2. I feel like season 1, you know, he's still pretty silly and he doesn't do anything
Yeah.
quite chick movie until
Yeah.
that episode where it's all about the soul episode for me when he doesn't tell Buffy.
Oh, that was like, well, that was like top tier Xander, you're a dick sort of
Yeah.
thing. Not only that, but if I was Buffy, I probably would have just like wailed on him like when I found out. It would have been like I remember like she asked him at one point like, "Are we cool?" I'm like, "No, like end of friendship for me. Sorry." But yeah, I feel like this is still kind of, like normal, and he's being funny and he's jealous, and it kind of like tickled me a little. But Willow, of course, is like A+ angel champ, she's like how romantic it was, and she wants to ask Buffy all these questions, and just being like, good Willow, good on
Good.
you. That's
Yeah.
a good friend.
Mm-hmm.
So they do a little research on the three. Find out that the master is actually probably going to take their lives, which he does. He lets Darla do because they failed, which to me just seems like a waste of like good vampire
Right.
power. Like if I was the master,
Like there was this
like
whole thing about the three being these total
warriors, yeah.
warriors, yeah, and then they just kill them off, like.
Yeah, you failed, let's kill you. Which makes you think you've never
Mm-hmm.
failed once in all of your time as a vampire. Like that's crazy, but okay.
Yeah.
So they're dead, and then Buffy goes home and she brings Angel
Mm-hmm.
dinner in this little like bag, and I looked at it and I was like, what have you got in a Ziploc bag that's all dinner? It's just like funny. And then Angel kind of takes it and he's like, Buffy, I have to, and he's about to tell her something, and it's probably like he's gotta leave, like he's uncomfortable there, which is surprised me he was still in her room. Like that surprised me. It was like,
Yeah,
why
like
is he
he's just
there?
hanging out the whole day. She's at
Yeah,
school.
just hanging out in her room, and she like just like expected him to be,
Didn't she think he looked through her diary or something?
Oh my god, the most secondhand embarrassment I've ever felt in Buffy. Yeah, she's like, what have you done all day? He's like, nothing, just, did a little reading. And then she looks in her diaries on her dresser. And she's like, my diary? You read my diary? And before he can say anything, she just goes into like defending what she wrote, which I guess is like calling him a hunk and like saying
Uh-huh.
all those things. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is hard to watch for
I
me.
know, it's like she's like the classic TV mistake, speaking before you let the other person explain. Like,
Yeah, don't just go into stuff that's going to, embarrass
mm,
you dearly before the other person can be like, yes or no. And he's like, Buffy, I didn't read your diary. Like, your mom left it there when she was cleaning. Again, makes me go like, where was Angel when the
where
mom was
was
in there
Angel when she
cleaning?
was
But,
cleaning her room? She was like hiding under
okay.
the bed or in the
Yeah,
closet.
he was like under the bed like a creeper. Like, yeah, so, and then she's like, oh. And
Like
she's
Kirk
all,
from the new Star Trek movies when he's under the roommate's bed.
yeah,
O'Hara.
like Angel. Like, yeah, like watching. Yeah. So she finds out he didn't read it, and she like dies inside a little. And then he's talking, and she's talking,
For
and
good
he's like,
measure.
he basically says like, Buffy, I can't be around you because when I do, it's like I can't help but want to kiss you or something. And then she like stops talking. She's like, kiss you. So
Yes,
cute.
you
And
rang.
then they kissed, and it was everything I'd wanted, everything I'd been waiting for. And then he morphs into a vampire, like complete vampire face. And I remember the first time, I think the very first time I ever saw this episode, I thought that was just perfect. Like I thought I was like over the moon about it. I'm like, good, they made him something not human and
Uh-huh.
something that's like this like forbidden love. I loved it. I was all about it.
Yeah,
That
it's
made it good.
like
Like at first
Phantom
I
of
was
the
like,
Opera goodness.
yeah, all about the forbidden love. Sort of like every book I've ever written has been about forbidden love. So I think I
In
probably got it
dreams
from
he
here when I was a
sang to
child.
me, in sleep he came.
So he flings himself out the window, and she goes to school the next day and tells everyone. And this is okay. This Xander did bug me a little bit because he's like, "You're a Slayer. He's a vampire. Do what you have to do." Not taking into account that there may be more going on, or even Buffy's feelings in the matter.
Yeah, and the
Like,
fact that he's helped them, the whole group, like, a whole bunch of times,
multiple
like
times, yeah. Like, maybe just sit there and question, okay, but, like, I get that he's a vampire, and according to your books, you don't think a vampire can be good because their soul's gone, and they're just a demon. But what if there was something that happened? Like, you don't know yet. You don't know. Maybe let's not rush to like stake him now. And that's
Mhm.
that's what he does, which is I think the beginnings for me of the disliking Xander, where he puts like his feelings above Buffy,
Yeah.
above
I mean, he
Willow.
basically puts murder out
Mhm.
there
Yeah.
to his competition, you know?
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah. Oh, he stayed in your bedroom? Kill him.
kill him. It's like,
Xander, what if you found out Buffy was a vampire? Would you just like,
would
oh,
you
well,
kill
you're a
her?
vampire?
No.
No. So, Giles and Willow are a little more, understanding, and they're like doing their
Mhm.
research, and they find out that Angel was Angelus, and
Ah.
you get kind of that backstory a little.
Which
And
he also
meanwhile,
very sexy as
oh
Angelus.
my god, he's so okay. I love Tib as the villain. Like, I want Buffy and Angel together, but as the villain, he was like one of my favorite villains.
One of my favorite villains
Um,
too, yeah.
hmm but then we find out that Darla visits Angel and basically is kind of like just poking at him and goading him, and like, do you think she'd really love you if now that she knows what you are, and she's a slayer? Because Darla, I guess in this
Was
episode
his
we learn how
maker.
to we learn she's his maker. I don't think we learn it till the end of the episode. Like, now we just know that they know each other, and the
Mhm.
way they're talking, they obviously had like some vampire thing,
A
So
vampire thing.
she's basically like just needling him, like, oh, go to her, kiss her with your true face. I'm sure it'll be fine. And
Which
so
I
he
would be
goes,
okay with. I would still kiss that
yeah,
face.
I've been like, okay, fine. And then she and the master are talking, and she talks about like bringing Angel back to their side and getting Angel as the one to kill Buffy. In my head, this doesn't seem like a good plan because he's good, so whatever. But she goes to Buffy's house where the mom is and attacks the mom, and Angel is
Oh, I
there.
hated that scene. Oh.
Angel is there to obviously talk to Buffy, and he sees her attacking the mom. So he comes into the house. She throws the mom's like sort of passed out body into Angel, and he's there holding her with like the bite marks, and he vamps out his face. And then Darla leaves, and 2 seconds later, Buffy walks
Buffy
into the
walks
kitchen.
in. It's like one of those things where you're like, oh no, no, don't do it. Don't do it. And
That's
they do
really
it.
so cute. And
No.
I can't fault Buffy here either, because I would have the same reaction. Like, if I walked in and he's in vampire face, just holding like my loved one with their neck bleeding, I would have been like, oh my god, he attacked my mom. What the?
Uh-huh.
So I don't blame her reaction. She either threw him out the window or he jumped out the window. I'm not sure which one. We just see him crashing through the window.
Mm-hmm.
And then she's like, if you ever come back here, I'll kill you. So understandable. But then they take the mom to the hospital. The whole gang's there, and this is where Buffy's kind of like, she's like, I have to kill him. I let him in too much. This is my fault. And but then even in my head, I'm like, you find out a little more. Like, find out just a little more before you go rush and kill him. Like, I know
Murder
it looks
some guy
bad.
may have a
Yeah.
soul, you know?
Yeah, like, it looks bad, but I mean, he's helped you so much, and he's been so nice, and he didn't even attack you like as he was kissing you. So there's something going on. Like, it was almost
Mm-hmm.
like, Buffy, something else is going on. Just like think through it, think through it. But she goes off. She gets her crossbow. She's going off to hunt him. Meanwhile, Darla goes to Angel and gets him like all riled up, and like, she's hunting you right now. Go, 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 kill her. And so Buffy and Angel have this like showdown at the Bronze. And meanwhile, in the hospital, they learn that it was actually Darla that attacked the mom and not Angel. So Giles like Giles and the team go to like tell Buffy, which I think is like really cool. Like they could have just let her kill Angel and then and like actually it was Darla, it wasn't Angel. Oh well, at least you killed him. So I think
Mhm.
it's really cool that they like run off to tell Buffy. Um but even then, Xander was like, I don't know, what if we get there and they're like fighting to the death? What do we do? It's like, Xander, come on. Now you know he's not even the bad guy. Like, come on.
Right? It's like,
But
what do? You stop the
you do,
fight.
you stop it. You're like, hey Buffy, it wasn't Angel, it was Darla. Like just
Mhm.
like yell it into the ether. Like, I don't care. But they get there and Buffy and Angel are fighting and it's it's actually really like it's a good fight. Like I'm like I was very engaged with this fight. Like I wanted to see how it turned out. I wanted to see, you know, like who won. But really, I don't think Angel was trying that hard because he let like
No.
one little kick like shove him against the wall, and then he was like, "Shoot me, go ahead, do it. You know, just shoot me." And she shoots, and it goes into the wall, and he's like, "You missed the heart." And this is where they talk, and Angel explains that he was the one who killed his family. He was Angelus. He was this terrible vampire. But then he killed this gypsy girl, and the rest of the gypsies, the Romani, placed a curse on him, which gave him his soul back because when you're a vampire, you don't have a soul. Like, that's gone. That's not you, which the show has said many and many times. So,
And then it goes against its own logic that it created for
yeah.
Spike.
Yeah, past that, I know. I have a whole issue with that. It's like if we would have gotten to know, I think season 7 Spike more, who was actually like had his soul and was like
Mhm.
actually I forget what his name like Spike's name when he was a human. But like I would have liked to have seen like that Spike a little more because it's obviously you have Spike with a soul and then you have the Spike who didn't have a soul, which is basically Angel, Angelus, Spike, human, you know, so I just feel that was like a missed opportunity. But yeah, so didn't have a soul. and and then they cursed him and brought his soul back to him. So now he's Angel again and remembers everything he ever did, but he has a soul. He's not a demon
Mhm.
anymore. So that's his curse. And Buffy was I mean, understandably, like, oh, like she like okay, like she saw him like as Angel then, like okay, like she understood it, and they had this really sweet scene where she like puts down the crossbow and she's like shows him her neck and she's like, kill me then, like bite me, and he's like he just stares at her and he's like she's like not so easy, is it? So it's kind of
Mhm.
a sweet scene, but then Darla shows up with guns,
And
not just
this is like the only time they bring guns.
Mhm. I thought it was actually really smart of her. She knows that she can't beat Buffy
Like, I'll
with
just shoot her.
hand-to-hand combat, so I'm gonna bring a weapon. So smart Darla. But
Mhm.
and this is where we learn that Darla was his maker and that they were together for a really long time and in, vampire soulless love, but still in love. And
Mhm.
she shoots Angel and then proceeds to poo at Buffy, and Giles and Willow and Xander get there and kind of try to cause a distraction. And obviously she has guns, so it's going to be hard to stop her. And then right as she's about to shoot Buffy, Angel comes and stakes her right in the back. And she just turns
Mhm.
around and she looks at him and she's like, Angel, and then falls to dust on the ground. And it's kind of poetic that he killed someone who even though he was soulless at the time, they had this like connection, and
Mhm.
he, killed her to save Buffy, which I found really, just really, really kind of sweet.
Romantic.
Yeah, very
You killed
romantic.
your
Very
maker
romantic.
for me. That's a big vampire
Yeah, you killed
thing,
your
you
maker
know?
for
Like, that's love.
And I think it was kind of like shown as Buffy and Angel stared at each other at the end, and she kind of has like a tear in her eye, realizing what he had just done for her, and he
Mhm.
just turns and walks away, and it was a beautiful moment. It was such a beautiful moment. It was such high action, and we got this information dump, which was really cool. And then all of a sudden this beautiful, romantic, sweet moment that also involves death. It's a really great scene. Really great scene. Um, and the next scene I liked even more, which is they're back in the bronze, and
Mm-hmm.
Buffy saying how she hasn't seen Angel, but she still feels that he's around watching her, and Willow, being the champ, says that's because he is, and points out to where he's standing, watching her in his dress suit and white shirt, it's like opened up down the middle, looking fine, and then
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
goes,
Delicious.
delicious. So she goes over to him, and they kind of say how, oh yeah, we can't be together, vampire angel, or vampire slayer, and he's 200 and some years old. So all of these reasons that they can't be together, but then they kiss.
And then you
And
kiss me.
to the most romantic song. I forget which song it is, but it's a good
Is it that
song.
Wild Horses song? Wild Horses.
No, it's not Wild Horses. It's that one, like, I look at your lips, I know how sweet they can be. Did they know what they wanted the time they kissed me? That song. I forget what it's called. It's like driving me crazy. But so they kiss, and then she pulls away, and he has kind of this look on his face, and he's like, it's just, and she's like, it's painful, I know. And then she walks away, and you see that her cross actually like burned its impression into his chest. And I was like, oh, she is burned on you, my man.
Isn't he like, it is or something? Like, it is.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, it was so beautiful. It was such a beautiful moment, just, and I think like a really good example of their love story too. It's sort of dangerous but sweet, and it burns on them. It burns on each other.
Yeah, it's like that song, I still have your face painted on my heart, etched across
her necklace is right there on his chest, right over his heart.
It's on his heart. Yeah.
Yeah, I love so much about this episode. What did you like? What were some of your favorite moments in this episode?
I think the kitchen scene with his shirt and his tattoo was gotta be one of my favorite moments. And then, of course, the ending with the kiss and the cross burning. I love that. And I even love them sleeping next to each other. I thought that was a nice fluff moment. I could die by just seeing Angel and Buffy fluff. Like, I wish there was a whole season of them just being domestic and in love.
It's like sweet.
We get like one episode of that in Angel, and then they take it away.
No, they don't just take it away. They cut it out from your
destroy it. Yeah. They carve it out with a spoon. So that's probably my favorite moments. I have to say this episode, and then the Angelus episode where he's talking about passion.
Oh my god, yeah.
Are probably my two favorite episodes. And they're so stark in contrast, because one, he's super good puppy dog, and the other, he's complete evil. But they're just both so well written, and they're
that's what I was gonna say.
Yeah, they're so juicy that it's like these two episodes are probably my favorite. And of course the first episode, because that's like introduction to the world and all that.
Yeah, we get the, and I like that amends episode too in season 3, where he kind of wants to kill himself, but then it starts to snow on Christmas.
What is that? Isn't there like an epic song that plays during that part too?
I can't remember. Like, for the life of me, I cannot remember.
Of them walking down the street hand in hand, snowing. It's like the universe was like, no.
Like, I'm gonna give you this. This is your gift.
I know, this is your gift.
Yeah, and I think I agree. Like, what's great about all of those episodes is the writing. It's just really good, rich storytelling, like, all the way through.
All the way through. So, you know, the moment when he's comes back from the hell, whatever, and he's holding her, he goes Buffy, and he's like holding her.
Oh my god, yeah! He's like on his knees, Buffy. Yeah,
Buffy.
that episode too. It's like it's
Yeah.
the writing for me. It's, you know,
Those
the
there are just certain moments in the Buffy
mhm.
series that are just so beautiful.
They stick with you because 'cause they're
Yeah.
so well written, they're so well acted,
Mhm.
and they pull at just the right part of you that they're aiming for. You know, that this
Yeah.
is gonna be romantic but tragic. This is gonna be, you know, like a peppering of humor in there. They're just perfect episodes to me. It's like kind of
Mhm.
a lot of the supernatural episodes where it's drama, it's heartfelt, but there's also that sprinkling of humor
Of
to like keep you
humor.
going. Mhm. So well
Yeah.
written. So well written.
A
So
lot
yeah.
alongside fantasy, fantastical things, so it's
Yes.
kinda cool to combine all those things
Yeah.
and, like,
Like
romance,
vampire slaying, like strong
kick-assness.
women out there like killing the forces of evil. I'm
Yeah.
all for it. I think this is the episode that really sealed my love for Buffy. I really like the show. Like anything where it's like, you know, a girl
Warrior.
kicking
Yeah.
demon butt, yeah, I'm all about. But to throw in this sort of sophisticated, like a sophisticated love story, this like forbidden love, and I just it was everything I wanted, everything I could have ever wanted in a show.
Yeah, totally. I
Mm-hmm.
think, for me, when I discovered Samus in Metroid was a woman, that was, like, a big deal for me, and then Buffy, it was like, these women warriors, like, in the
Yeah,
world, you know?
yeah,
Like, finally, like, fantasy had a place for women that wasn't just
mhm.
a love interest, you know?
Yeah. Fantasy TV shows, because movies had been doing it for a little while, but like the TV
Yeah.
show, I think you're like, yeah, just like something, and not just fantasy, but fantasy horror kind of, you know.
Yeah.
So I think Buffy and Xena really paved the way for a lot of shows today.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm. So I think we already know the answer, but how many bloody steaks are you giving it?
All the bloody steaks.
All of them! All of them!
Oh,
Stab them in my heart! All of them!
stop to the heart, and you're to
And
blame.
those to
You give bloody
blame.
steaks a bad name.
Yeah, so a 10 bloody steaks from both of us.
Yes, all the
If we
bloody
had
steaks.
more to give, we would. My drink,
Mhm.
I'm giving like 10 bloody steaks too. This is delicious. It's gone.
Ah,
I drank
nice.
most of it before we even started talking. I was like, but yeah, it's so good. I recommend making it.
Yes.
And yeah, so that was our review of Angel, which is one of our favorite episodes ever. Love him, love everything about it. Love their love story, love the direction this episode took, like introducing us to a whole new element of just besides just like staking vampires. Now we got one we're in love with. So
Oh.
great episode, 10 out of 10. And the next episode we're going to review, I completely blanking on because all I remember is this episode. I think it's the robot one, actually. I think we're doing the robot one.
The rowboat?
Robot. Robot.
Oh, robot. Oh, we don't like that one.
I don't like that one either. It was just lame. So,
Mhm.
we'll see. But alright, guys, thank you for tuning in for our review of Buffy the Vampire Slayer Angel. We hope you love it as much as we do. Talk to you later. Bye.
Bye.